Hi, and welcome to today's episode of The Supporting Actor. I'm your host, Adrienne Streeter, so let's jump right into it. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of The Supporting Actor. I'm Adrienne Streeter, your host, and I'm looking forward to having a great conversation with the Williams family. But before we jump into that conversation, don't forget to click, share, and subscribe as we are now entering into our second season of The Supporting Actor. So with no further ado, let's welcome Mr. and Mrs. Williams.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Well, thanks for having us.
Hi, LJ. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for joining. So, with no further ado, let's talk about your grandson, LJ, who just left the room. I was super excited to see his face. So, tell us a little bit about your grandson, LJ.
Can we talk about? Is it okay if we talk about you? Yep. So he's gone. His attention span is that's short. But LJ is our, what is he? 6th grandchild out of 8.
Yeah.
He lives here with us in Louisiana. The other ones live in Minnesota and Indiana.
Okay.
He's going to be 9 in November.
All right.
And he is a pretty awesome kid.
I love it.
He is the son of our middle daughter. Okay. And she was a teenage mom.
Oh.
So her pregnancy was a little bit of a whirlwind. We can get into that a little bit later, but
another episode for that.
It was definitely a whirlwind pregnancy. And LJ is very much like his nana. He's bossy, but he's a sweetheart. He's silly and funny like his pop. He has his ways like his mama. He can be very stubborn. Very stubborn. Right now, we are dealing with him being a little bit of a potty mouth at school. That's an issue. He will drop an occasional F-bomb or two, unfortunately.
He's a kid.
He loves his YouTube, which we're trying to pull him back from it because that's where he got the F-bombs from. Yeah. What do you have to say about him, Pop?
I mean, he's like my right-hand man. So it's like, Pop and LJ. If I get up, or Pop, come on, watch TV with me, or Pop, let's go to bed. Yeah. So I don't have any sons. I have all daughters. So, he's the first male child I've actually had experience living in the household with and raising. And it's a bit of a challenge at times, but he's definitely a brilliant kid. Right. He absorbs everything.
So a little bit more about Desiree. Desiree's 25 now, but she got pregnant at 16 when she was in her junior year of high school. Mm-hmm. And of course, we are Gen X. So we are the generation that, you have a baby at your teenage years, your life is over. Yeah. So we didn't want her to feel that. Mm-hmm. Were we ecstatic about it? No, she was 24 weeks when we found out that she was pregnant. And so when we went to the doctor, the ultrasound tech was, this is not a new baby. Although that was her first prenatal visit. And then at 27 weeks, her water began to leak prematurely. So she was put in the hospital on bed rest for 3 weeks. Okay. And after 3 weeks, he was born. So he was born at about 30 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And because of the lack of prenatal care and the way her pregnancy went, we figured there was going to be some sort of delays. We didn't know what. And then, of course, as he was growing up, he wasn't meeting all the milestones. He wasn't sitting up on time. Tummy time wasn't going like it normally goes. He didn't sit up in the normal time range. He didn't crawl or walk at the normal time. So all of those milestones we kind of knew. So very early on, we got interventive care, which we can't stress enough that early intervention makes the world of difference. in how a child progresses. And Desiree is awesome because she was not a mom that was in denial. She was seeking, like she wanted to know, okay, why my baby isn't doing this. Okay, you all say this. What do we need to do for this? So he was getting early speech therapy, and he was getting some OT therapy very early on to help him sit up. So she's whatever they were offering, she was all for it. Like,
I
yes,
love it.
yes. So she's awesome in that route, in that way. But
So with your journey of finding out your daughter was pregnant at 24 weeks and the doctors still kind of giving you all some the milestones and he wasn't meeting those milestones. Was there a specific time that you all learned that he was classified as on the spectrum or that he was autistic? How did you all officially find out that he was on the spectrum?
I must say that actually came a little bit later because being in Alexandria, we didn't have all the resources when it came to confirmation. So we had to seek out different healthcare physicians or whoever to kind of assist in that. And that was probably the most difficult task because they may not be available in that. So I think it was probably, how old was he, about 3 maybe?
Well, he was 2 going on 3. And it was once he started walking, he wasn't talking, and he was stimming. Now, we didn't know that it was called stimming at the time, but he would rock a little bit. He did pace a lot.
Still paces.
And he still paces, and he was humming a lot. And we didn't have full experience, but of course you hear things, you see things on TV and on the news, symptoms of autism. So my daughter, again, we both felt like maybe we should get him evaluated because he was receiving the speech therapy. So with the humming and the pacing, and he used to flap. He doesn't do that as much anymore, but he did used to flap. So she thought that maybe we should get him evaluated through Lafargue Education Center. It's in Alexandria, Louisiana. They were the ones who were doing his speech therapy. So we just asked, because they ask you this plethora of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so they asked us if we felt like there was more going on. And at that time she did express, well, yeah, because he paces, he hums, he's already not speaking. He was nonverbal really until he was a little over 4.
Yeah.
So then with her saying, yeah, we think it's a little bit more than just a speech delay. And then so there's a series of questions that they ask and then they score it. And based on that score, they said, yes, it's likely that he's on the spectrum. So they never give you a real diagnosis. It's very hard to get an actual diagnosis. So they sent us to the what's the doctor?
It's an African doctor. I can't think
his name was Dr. Ogagwe in Alexandria, Louisiana, and he basically did testing on the brain to rule out everything else but the neurologist to rule out everything else so ruling out cerebral palsy. He ruled out a whole plethora of issues. And so basically she was applying for ABA therapy, and the ABA therapy place that he was going to, they needed the diagnosis. So we never really communicated with Dr. Ogagwe's office, which was frustrating because we were expecting them to say, okay, yes, this is autism level 4, or, it's the spectrum. So they like to say high functioning and low functioning. We don't like to use that because what is low functioning? He's a human and he functions fine. So he's not low functioning.
Right.
But what they mean by that is when they say high functioning, it's kids who don't need as much assistance. And the kids that they consider low functioning, they need more help. They may cause self-harm to themselves. They may be what they call elopers, the ones that like to leave and they'll walk away or leave out of the house. So they need more assistance and more support than a quote unquote high functioning child or autistic person. So after the neurologist. They sent the results straight to the ABA therapy, and they accepted him into the program. So we were like, okay, so that means he's autistic because y'all took him in the program. And he did ABA therapy, and for a good while, it was productive, it was helpful. But there came a point where it's like, okay, it's not really a good fit anymore. And that by that time he had gone through Head Start, kindergarten, and he was going into the first grade, into regular public school with the special needs program. And so we didn't get an actual diagnosis until here recently. When we moved to Baton Rouge. We just moved here 2 years ago. And just in the last few months, she got an actual diagnosis of full, because he's had an IEP. He had all of the things that said he was in a special needs program, but the actual diagnosis, level 2 or 3, I think he is. I'd have to ask her.
I think it was 3.
That didn't come until recently, because we finally got a referral when we moved out here to a doctor that could actually give a diagnosis, and she needed that diagnosis to apply for Social Security for him. Because there's a plethora of things, like he's not eligible for life insurance. We can't get him covered with life insurance. So all of the things that she was trying to do to make sure that his quality of life and that he's taken care of in the future.
One of the things that I have learned in my journey, particularly as an African American, that oftentimes, whether it's autism, whether it's ADHD, oftentimes our community is not that accepting of these types of diagnoses. Were there any challenges, or was there any challenge for anyone in your family to accept the diagnosis, even though it came a little bit later than the journey that you all have been on thus far? Was there any challenges that anyone was like, no, not my child, not my grandchild, not my cousin?
No, not with us, but particularly I think with my daughters, his aunts, and everybody kind of received it and accepted for what it was, because we saw that there were some delays. Like, we can all see that. I think his dad more so than anything, that he had the acceptance thing. I think he's still a little challenged with that, but
yeah, his dad didn't really want to accept it, and so he didn't want to. When we were trying to tell him some of the things, the tools to use, he didn't really want to do it that way. He just wanted to treat him as a normal kid, which he is normal, but he's just different. It's normal to be different. So all of the aunties, everybody accepted. 2 of my grandsons, the 2 that are closest to LJ in age, I think the first time they met him, Jabez or Jazia, one of them, or both, they were in the hotel room playing, and LJ was humming and pacing, and they were like, why is he doing that? So they didn't quite understand. So Nana immediately went to Amazon, and I ordered some books, anything, why is my cousin, like, anything that they could relate to having a cousin with special needs. And I sent it to all of our other grandkids, like, look, read them these books so they can understand that LJ's a little different. He's still a kid. He still likes to play, but they have to engage him differently. And sometimes he won't engage back, but to just kind of let them know. And I think that's important for all families, whether you have neurotypical children or not, to normalize and explain to your children that sometimes there's kids that may be in your class, or you may see in a restaurant, and they're different. They may make noises, they may pace, they may do things, so that, and then to engage those kids on their level, because it was a time where LJ, he would play around other kids, but he would not interact with other kids. And that's when he was like 3, 4, 5. Now he likes to make friends, and he likes to play with friends, but he likes friends that kind of play with him back and can kind of get on his level and talk about the things that he likes.
I'd like to say also, like, so when she first put that information out there, because it upset her first of all, when the other kids were like, nah, what's going on with him? And so she was pretty upset about it. And so she did her due diligence and got the information out there. But on the other part of it is the daughters put in the work and made sure that the kids understood it. So we talking from maybe, I don't know, maybe about 3 years difference from the first time to the next time. Well,
yeah,
they were just here recently.
the two grandsons,
May, and then they came back over the summer. They were here in May and they came back over the summer and they spent time. And you can just see the difference in their interaction. Like all of them,
they all have a Switch,
the
Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So that's what they bonded over, and video games. And when LJ kind of went off and did his own thing, the other two boys understood it. But when they played, they got along so well, even though they don't see each other every day. Now, what was different, because I have we had church members at the time. She had grandsons that she believed was on the spectrum, but her daughter was in complete denial.
Yeah.
And she would be like, "Oh, I wish that her daughter, I wish she would talk to you. Can you talk to her to let her know what you all did?" Because when you're in denial, then you're not going to seek that help. Yeah. And you're not going to seek the speech therapy. You're not going to seek out the ABA therapy. You're not going to look for tools on how you can communicate with your child, even though they're nonverbal. Because some parents are just in denial. Oh, he's going to talk. Well, they may not. Yeah. And so now you need to work on learning sign language and look for those resources if you can't afford it, because some autistics have those communication devices and they are expensive, but they're resources that can get you those devices, either pay for it in full or give you a voucher to help you pay for it. But if you don't get that to your child and start working with that, how can they communicate? And a lot of meltdowns that we learned came when they get frustrated that they can't communicate with, you're not understanding what they're trying to tell you. But if you're in denial and you're like, ain't nothing wrong with my baby. Well, no, nothing is wrong, but there's something different. And you have to now address this in a different way. Yeah. Like LJ only eats chicken nuggets and he only eats basically finger foods. There's nothing that he really eats with a spoon. Maybe last year he started eating cereal with milk with a spoon, but for the most part he prefers dry cereal and then to drink his milk on the side. So when he was a baby, he ate everything. Eggs, hot dogs, cheeseburgers. But it slowly just got to the point where he wouldn't eat. And when I say he wouldn't eat, it could be 2 days and he wasn't going to eat it. So we got to give him chicken nuggets, because chicken nuggets are bad. Now we did find healthier chicken nuggets because he won't eat vegetables. He does not eat vegetables at all. He used to eat green beans. That's out the window. Not a vegetable. I don't want it. Yuck. He does have texture issues. Yeah. And so if it doesn't feel right in his mouth, or because he used to touch it, if it doesn't feel right, or he'll pick it up and touch his tongue to it, he won't eat it. And when you go 2 or 3 days and your baby's not eating, you're going to feed them what they're going to eat.
That's right.
At least you should. Chicken nuggets, and I mean not chicken fingers, not chicken tenders,
not a certain chicken nugget,
not popcorn chicken. It
has to be uniform, a certain kind of way,
like a McDonald's chicken nugget, basically. Yeah. So even the Tyson chicken nuggets,
he ain't going. Yeah.
The dino shaped chicken nuggets. He's not eating popcorn chicken. No. Regular chicken, like a chicken wing or a chicken leg. No, ma'am. It's not going to happen.
So we did have one breakthrough with food. So he likes pizza, and the only pizza he had ever experienced was a pizza here. And so we took a trip to Chicago.
Where we're from.
That's where we're from originally. So we're from Chicago. So we decided we was going to have some Giordano, some deep dish pizza. So we give him a slice. We're like, man, I don't know if we're just going to see if he's going to try it.
He let it sit there for a while. It sat on the plate for a while, and I still have the video in my phone. He finally, I guess he got hungry. He finally picked up that deep dish pizza with the sauce on top, which is not in his wheelhouse at all.
None of that, yeah.
He bit it, chewed it, and then did a double take.
He looked at it. Yeah,
he looked at it like, yeah. And he smashed that pizza. So, so that was amazing. That was a breakthrough. But what I did find was a company called Kid Fresh. They incorporate vegetable purees in their foods. Now, it's just a minute amount. It's probably not the daily recommended, but it's something.
Yes.
So they have chicken nuggets that has cauliflower puree in it. That's his favorite chicken nugget.
Good.
We eat that, and we have to go on a certain. When we were in Alexandria, If Walmart didn't have it, let's go over here to Kroger. If Kroger doesn't have them, let's go over here to Albertsons.
We've gone as far as to order.
We've ordered them from the company online directly, like a case of the chicken nuggets. He used to like these pizza rolls because he does not like regular pizza rolls. He only liked Kid Fresh pizza rolls, which they've discontinued them. I hate it. I wrote the company when they did that, like, hey, what are you doing? So they still haven't brought it back, but.
So how does he eat? Do you all send his lunch to school with him?
We send his lunch to school. We have a lunch bag that has heating plates. So we heat those up in the morning because he eats French toast sticks or French toast bites. So we send that, wrap it in foil, put it on that heating plate. And then we have at the bottom, it has his ice. And it's, what's the name of the company? Because we'll get the name of that company with the lunch bag.
I want that for my kids.
It comes with 2 heating plates, and you heat it up, and it stays hot all day. And then, of course, for his milk, because he only drinks almond milk. We don't use soy milk, and he doesn't do regular milk. So although he eats cheese, we try not to give him any other dairy. Dairy causes mucus. Mucus causes inflammation.
Yep.
There's a lot of issues that stem from that. So we try not to give him too much. He does eat cheese on pizza when he has pizza, but that's the only dairy. One more product that we did use when the pandemic happened, because that's when he started talking. He started talking right when everything shut down, and it's Aspire, and it was a probiotic, tasteless, odorless probiotic powder that we put in his milk every day, and it helps the gut. And a lot of that inflammation, a lot of health issues stem from an unhealthy gut. So those probiotics helped, and I ordered it, and I watched, like, if I see a product, I'll follow it. And I'll read comments, and I'll read the reviews and do that research on the product. And it was developed by a dad for his autistic son to help him learn how to talk, to help him stay focused more. And it worked.
It really did.
I mean, literally, he started talking when the pandemic happened. And not just talk that, because all the kiddos have talk that you can understand at home, but the general public may not know. These were actual words that people could understand. And he just started talking more and more. And we still give him this powder, and we still use this company to this day.
I love that. Yes, definitely give us the links, because my daughter, who's in LJ's class, she still struggles with her fine motor skills as well, and her handwriting. It's getting better, but her focus is where we're really trying to get her now. So definitely give that to us so that we can not only use it ourselves, but to have our audience members know about Aspire. A couple more questions. So you've given us a plethora of resources. Are there any other resources and or organizations that you all would like to share with our audience that have helped you as a family really support LJ on his journey?
Well, definitely the Emerge Center in Baton Rouge, Central Align. I don't want to say it wrong, so I'll give you that link too. Okay. But they have like a list of resources for doctors, for the dentists, dentists that are autism or special need friendly. Because although some dentist office may say that, we learned that they're not all. Where there was one dentist, I won't say the name, but it was in Alexandria. And they said that they were special needs friendly, but their policy was to not allow the parents in the back. And that didn't work. That didn't work for LJ at all. He had a total meltdown. Luckily, the dentist that we found here, now, when he has to have any like real work, he does have to do pediatric sedation because he's just not gonna. And then he absolutely hates the doctor right now because of the two times that he got COVID tested and went up the nose, and he total meltdown. So right now he's like, no, I don't want to go. Now he will tell us, Nana, I'm sick. I need to go to the doctor when he doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I don't want to go to school. I've had it.
Yeah, so And then I did start, me and my daughter, we started following other families, autistic families on Facebook and social media. And then we get their resources because they give a lot. There's an app that I use for when you go to doctor's appointments. It's called Abridge.
Abridge.
Yeah. And because, you know, the doctor can throw a lot at you. So you can just press record and then it will basically transcribe the conversation for you. So you can always go back later and listen to it. You probably not going to be able to see it really good here.
Oh, I can see it a little bit.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could just use that at some
so
of my doctor's appointments.
That's what it looks like. If you can see, it's where it says Abridge in your Play Store.
Like
yeah. So that's it. So that's I use it for my doctor's appointments too. But when you're at the doctor and when you're at ABA therapy and they throw a lot of information at you, you can use that Abridge app. You can record and it will transcribe. And if there's any terminology that they use, the app will tell you what that means after the fact. So that's been huge. I just had surgery, so that helped me in some of the terminology that they were using for me. So, but I got that there's a family, they're fathering autism. So I follow them. There's another guy, his name is Ty, and they live in New Orleans, and he's actually a senior in high school. I think they live in Chalmette, him and his mom. But I like Ty because he reminds me a lot of LJ. And although he's a teenager, it kind of lets me know what's possible. Because when you don't see that reputation, that representation, now not all kids are the same, so they're not going to all behave the same, but it's still good to have something to hope for, to pray for, because if God will do it for one, he can definitely do it for another. So Ty, the name of their page is Checking My Fresh. And I like that mom because she did a lot for her son by herself. Like she didn't have all of the ABA therapy. So if you watch her page, she gives a lot of tips, and you have to go back to watch some of her older videos because she's been doing it for a while. But she made like her own laminated cards for words to help her son talk. Like she didn't have speech therapy. So everything that he was interested, she wrote it down and she put a picture and laminated it and made the little ring. And so she does a lot. And Ty he's so cool. He is so cool. He's such a cool guy. And she was like, he didn't start speaking until he was 6.
Oh, wow.
So just to watch him and see how she communicates and interacts with him and some of the things she holds him accountable for, like he keeps his little wallet. So I love those type of resources. There's another one that's Autism Beauty. She's a young girl named Jada. She just went to she's a freshman at Jackson State University or Alabama now. So just to see, she's in college, and it's not a special needs college, it's regular college, and she's there and she's on the spectrum. So I follow African Americans, whoever, because autism doesn't have a color. So those have been huge resources because those families that have been dealing with it longer, they always list a plethora of resources on their social media pages, and those are really helpful.
One of the other things I will say is the podcast has been created originally for parents who are supporting their child with a special need. And I got a phone call recently about an adult who has obviously grown up with a special need. And so we're going to have him on our show to talk about the thread of that support. It doesn't end. And these children that we are interviewing and their parents, it doesn't stop when they turn 13, 16, 18, that they become adults with the same need. And so we're going to interview him and talk about his journey in dealing with ADHD as a child that did not necessarily receive the diagnosis, but did as an adult, and how that has changed his life. So a lot of what you all said, Willie and Tiffany, has been valuable for our audience, and I appreciate you all for joining. Thank you for giving us a glimpse into your world and LJ and his personality. And thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
I
Like it.
appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey with us so far. And I thank y'all so much. And I will be keeping LJ in my prayers. And if y'all need anything, y'all can contact me. You know how to get me.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye. What a great conversation with the Williams family. It was so awesome for them to share their experience and their journey, supporting their daughter, who is also supporting her son, their grandson, LJ, with autism. Again, thank you all so much for joining The Supporting Actor. I'm Adrienne Streeter, your host. Don't forget to like, share, and more importantly, subscribe so that when we do upload new content, it will be available and you'll get that notification. Thanks, and we'll see you on our next episode. Take care. Bye.